and welcome to the Fireside Chat. I am Kalpana Singhal, Editor-in-Chief CXO TV, and today we have Biswajit Mohapatra, Partner and Delivery Leader Cloud Migration Factory at IBM, as our guest today. Recognized with many awards and accolades, Biswajit is a thought leader in multi-cloud transformation. He is also a DevOps Institute Ambassador, AWS APN Ambassador, member Board of Studies for Faculty of Computer Science and Symbiosis University. He has several publications, filed patents, and is regular speaker in national and international conferences on cloud, security, and cognitive technology. Welcome, Biswajit.
Thank you, Kalpana, and it's really a great pleasure to be here today with all of you guys, and really looking forward to a great fireside chat as we move along for next several minutes. Thank you.
We appreciate you for taking your time and joining us today for this conversation at CXO TV. So, Biswajit, my first question is, what exactly are your roles and responsibilities as the global delivery leader at IBM India?
Oh, you asked me the most difficult question, right? I really struggle to explain at times, right? So, as you said, I'm partner and delivery leader for Cloud Migration Factory and Cloud Application Services at IBM. So, as part of this role, what I do is I work with global Fortune 500 clients in advising them in their digital transformation journey, creating cloud transformation roadmap, creating target operating model for them so that they can move to cloud and get differentiated client value proposition out of their overall multi-cloud journey. Once we create those transformation roadmap, then I work with my clients to execute those large, complex system integration, hybrid multi-cloud transformation engagements. To summarize, basically, as a whole, if I really look at my role, it's kind of combination of strategy consulting with my clients, practice building, technology innovation, and more importantly, building inspired teams that's ready to go and address the challenges and opportunities in the hybrid multi-cloud space. So that's exactly what I do in IBM, Kalpana.
So what do you see as the fundamental changes in tech consumption pattern among enterprises during this pandemic?
Okay, so, there is complete change towards reinventing the business as you speak from the day pandemic has really struck the entire world, right? Hybrid multi-cloud is really becoming a reality now. So what does that mean? If you look at chapter 1 of cloud, it was more focused around consumer-driven innovation, public cloud, we all know that, but we are actually slowly entering into chapter 2 of cloud. And chapter 2 is all about enterprise-driven innovation. It's more about hybrid multi-cloud transformation, right? More and more clients are today looking at embracing their cloud transformation journey so that they're more hybrid, they're more multi-cloud, open, secure, as well as management, right? And while doing that, every client is exploring today for a very secured hybrid multi-cloud infrastructure that's built on culture of agile innovation, right? Of course, the expansion of ecosystems, cognitive automation, powered by data, and of course, build on next-gen applications and delivering cognitive insights so that the entire enterprise could really translate them into a cognitive enterprise today. So that's probably the fundamental shift that industry is going through today, right? When we have initially struck on pandemic, the focus was more towards how do I really ensure my business continuity, right? Of course, ensuring safety of my employees, health of my employees, right? But slowly now we are moving towards a more, when the dust is really settling down, we are actually moving towards a more resilient and more digitally transformation accelerated world where more of the CIOs are really looking at to embrace those digital transformation journey as we move forward from here. That's a shift that's the entire industry is going through today.
So how is this translated business-wise in terms of changes in SLAs and payment terms of contract fulfillments?
Okay, so I think so people were talking about digital transformation in the start of before pandemic era, if I talk about, right? But the whole digital transformation was focused around inside out transformation, I may say it, right? So everybody is looking at, let's do something, digitize some processes and reinvent basically. And once pandemic struck, everything was struck. People were actually focused around keeping the lights on, right? And now when there's a sea change towards accelerating digital transformation again, but the business dynamics has completely changed. Like you talked about SLAs, you talked about contracts, right? More and more focus now is on digitized contracts, right? And nobody is really going for a very big bang kind of contract today, right? Everywhere the focus is on outcomes, right? Start small, smaller MVPs, take a design thinking approach, build MVPs, go small, but that should really get tagged to some outcome and deliver some real tangible value based on digital foundation, as we say, maybe resilient infrastructure or pervasive platforms as the base, and then over that virtual collaboration platforms, contactless delivery. So entire delivery model is actually going through a sea change, and that's impacting the SLAs and contracts, making it more digitized, making it more transparent, so to speak. And I think it's more a collaborative environment today, whether your clients and you are working together to deliver those outcomes. So that's the change on contract and SLA terms that's going on today.
Right. So with work from home and remote ops becoming prevalent, have you seen usage of technologies like RPA, AR, VR, AI analytics, and ML more?
Absolutely right. So I think the era that we are entering into now, it's going to be the era of all of those, I call it as exponential technologies, right? So the entire industry is actually, if you really look at, it's converging towards social, technological, as well as regulatory related focus areas, right? So there's a convergence, and that convergence is actually giving rise to growth of those exponential technologies, like I talked about virtual collaboration platforms, right? How do you deliver virtual contactless delivery, right? The entire contactless platform and AR, VR, as you know, plays very important role there, basically, when you're talking about contactless delivery, right? RPAs, right? Automation focus. Again, security becoming a very key aspect as we move along from here, basically, and start delivering contactless delivery to our clients, right? So I think there's a huge tsunami of AI, ML, virtual contactless delivery, and other progressive technologies that's going to really rule the industry. And I think probably every industry it's going to touch upon. And we at India more focused on, as you hear, Make in India and going digital and other stuff. So I think we are going to be probably, the way I look at it, though I envision it, we are going to be the maximum beneficiary of all of those exponential technologies in coming days, right? The rate of proliferation is really going to be very, very high, and I'm very optimistic about it.
Right. So what are the highlights of the cloud modernization journey and what are the challenges faced?
Okay, so cloud mod, I think there is different kind of understanding in many people when we talk about cloud modernization journey. So maybe before talking about cloud modernization, I'll kind of quickly touch upon what cloud adoption really means and how cloud modernization plays an important role there, right? So we know basically, we know those complex chaotic portfolios. Let's think about a bank, for example, right? So what not technologies built several years back, very much spaghetti and chaotic portfolio, right? And everywhere there's a need to streamline that portfolio, assess that portfolio in terms of business value, in terms of technology value or strategy value and cost value, to identify what are those applications that you should migrate, what are the applications that you should modernize, or what are the applications you need to integrate, basically. That's step one of streamlining your portfolio to really get a linear cost benefit. You may call it an uncreative way, but that's the way probably you can directly get some cost benefit immediately, right? Then the next step of it is basically when you identify the dispositions for migration or modernization, are you really going to do reverse or restructure or rewrite those applications to newer target environments, right? So that becomes again another important factor, right? And how do you really identify the move groups based on the affinities and dependencies? How do you really group them before you really move them to cloud, right? This is probably the journey that clients are taking from advice to migrate, to modernize, maybe need for building cloud native applications before you really go and run and manage those applications. But having said that, we know single cloud was there for some times. So why multi-cloud, and what multi-cloud is really addressing that single cloud was not able to really address, or the challenges that was faced by a single cloud environment sometimes back, right? So coming back to your question to address how and what modernization really going to play. So modernization takes like different shapes and sizes basically, right? It could be, when you talk about modernization, as I said, it could be rewriting the applications, or it could be completely strangling the monolith, right? Or it could be containerizing the monolith, right? Or adding new microservices, or refactoring to microservices, or exposing with APIs, right? So there are different ways that you really need to look at. And the biggest challenge is when you make the microservices and when you make part of the applications exposed as APIs, how you really establish the coexistence layer, the coexistence of the new world, and that's something which is already existing within your on-premise environment, right? That's probably a key differentiator for success of most of the modernization engagements, right? Apart from that, you know the challenges around, if I talk about multi-cloud modernization engagements and the adoption of multi-cloud, maybe there is need for ecosystem expansion, right? There is need for resiliency, right? There is need for price-sensitive deployments, right? Another very important parameter, right? Then probably we can talk about latency and proximity concerns, right? Need for agility, as I spoke about, or data sovereignty, right? Or maybe some of the reliability, as well as I said, resiliency and other parameters that we really need to take into account. And those are the areas that's really actually driving multi-cloud adoption as well as modernization at scale today.
So what are the bottlenecks in a multi-cloud transformation program?
Yeah, so bottlenecks, as I talked about, right? So the first bottleneck is how do you really make the journey a complete end-to-end process, basically, right? So there are security concerns, right? Management of all the cloud together in a single pane of view, it's still a very challenge. I know there are so much telemetry tools available, monitoring, logging, tracking, all those things available, but still, I think the industry is struggling to find a single pane of management utilizing a tool that can give a management dashboard, right? That's another challenge basically, right? And then some of the challenges, as I talked about, whether it's proximity concerns, right? Latency issues, creating the right target operating model, making the cloud more secured are some of the real challenges that's kind of needs to be addressed when we are adopting the hybrid multi-cloud journey basically for our clients.
Right. And how do you see more mainstream adoption of containerization and Kubernetes among enterprises?
Okay, so that's probably one of my favorite question actually, right? So I know there are different school of thoughts, right? But if I look at the industry and the way my clients are adopting multi-cloud, cloud native build environment, right? I think containerization and Kubernetes is really going to stay, right? One slide, we're talking about serverless technologies, for example. How do you really build, deploy applications without really getting worried about the underlying infrastructure and deployment practices, right? Other side is, it's all about control as well as responsibility that you could gain out of your containerization and Kubernetes orchestration mechanisms, right? Having everything on a box is definitely a great advantage for businesses, and I'm really very optimistic that containerization Kubernetes is really going to evolve into multiple higher level of magnitude of technical capability, and it's going to be the future of cloud native build as we move in this journey from here.
So how can enterprises, CIOs leverage agile design thinking, DevOps, security, and cognitive automation?
Okay, so I think that's a good question, right? So we talked about digital transformation, and we know that the pace of disruption is really very high and accelerating when the whole industry is embracing digital transformation journey, right? So a successful digital transformation will need all of these things basically, right? Starting from DevOps, right? or more to say that today's DevOps is actually DevSecOps, right? There is no DevOps without DevSecOps today. That's the way I look at it. How do you really embed security at every part of your CI/CD implementation and on your DevOps journey, right? We all remember why it is important. Basically, let's go back to the days where we were developers, right? At least when I was a developer, when I was building code, I never looked at code on the point of view of security, right? And security was always a afterthought, basically, right? But today, can we run the business by making security as a afterthought? Probably not, right? It has to be a very integral part of your overall multi-cloud transformation journey and embedded into every step of your CI/CD pipeline, right? DevOps is probably the driving that automation practices and principles through usage of tools. But then the industry is again evolving towards, let's say, site reliability engineering per se, right? So how do you really bring in system thinking into the systems that we are building? We call it shifting left, basically, right? So how do you really build something based on DevOps automation practices and principles, but keeping engineering practices on mind, right? So that's the new way of thinking and looking at the applications. Observability, maybe another great parameter, right? How do you really observe systems and as an external standpoint and look at so that you can make the system more robust and more resilient, right? So most of the previous days were focused around known unknown, basically, right? We get some known patterns, and from those known patterns, we are predicting something that is going to be unknown, right? But the future is also going to be more and more about unknown patterns, right? So which is not known, right? Something has happened. How do you do that? Unless you have the right observability practices built in, it's very difficult for you to identify those unknown patterns, actually. So DevOps, site reliability engineering, observability, chaos engineering, right? How do you really make do the chaos testing to make those systems really resilient? They don't break, basically, right? You try to attack the system from various dimensions so that the system breaks and you fix it, right? Or maybe anti-fragility. That's the new trend that's happening in the industry today, right? How do you build the systems making those more anti-fragile? So those are the things probably going to drive tomorrow's digital reinvention agenda, the way I look at it. The other point you asked about, probably I missed, is about design thinking, right? So we call it as you do the design thinking with the clients, right? Closer to the client, right? And you understand what client feels, what is your client needs, right? What client says. So it's more basically building that business model canvas to start with, and then moving into your design and execution journey to make the fast MVP ready, and which is also available to the client in a lesser time frame to get the feedback and do continuous optimization, continuous feedback, and learning from the best practices, right? So it's all about co-create, co-execute, and cooperate, right? So that's probably the overall dynamics, the way design thinking is actually playing an great role in the shifting business paradigm that we are into today. Does that answer your question, Kalpana? Or?
Absolutely, absolutely. So as a DevOps ambassador, what are your goals for helping to advance the human of DevOps?
Oh, that's again interesting question, right? Yeah. So I am actually a DevOps Institute ambassador, right? And I've been kind of really doing a lot of community development activities as part of DevOps Institute ambassador program, right? So building these new age DevOps, SRE, observability, chaos engineering skills within our practitioners, right? And I'll probably quote one of my favorite quotes from Steve Jobs, which I probably quote in most of my interviews, right? So Steve Jobs said, not your faith on technologies, right? But your faith on people will be actually bringing all the changes in the business, basically, right? So more than technology, have faith on your people, basically, right? And that's I strongly imbibe and strongly believe on, right? So as a humans of DevOps, if I really advancing the practices of humans of DevOps, I think there's great amount of learning, unlearning, and relearning needs to be done, including all of us, right? And this is the time for that, right? The whole industry is shifting towards future skilling, as you say, right? We talked about I-shaped practitioner sometimes back, right? Then slowly to T-shaped practitioner and Pi-shaped practitioner, and why not what people say as the most recent one, COMSEP practitioner, right? So how do you really build in your experience, your expertise, your excellence, and the execution capability? It's what every future skilled practitioner needs to be really focusing on as part of their reskilling or upskilling journey, basically, right? So how do you move really from your skill from entry to foundation to experience to expert and maybe to a thought leader level is probably going to be a focus area for each and every practitioner, and that's what probably is a mandate that I'm trying to drive as part of my role as a global ambassador for DevOps Institute.
Right. And how do you see IT agenda changing for 2021 for the enterprises, and what changes do you see in IT agenda post pandemic, especially? This could be the final.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think Ajay mentioned earlier, we are going through a very uh, disruptive change, if I may say so, right? So what does that mean, right? So the entire business is today actually rebuilding around experiences, right? Uh, then there is the digital transformation is actually driving the entire reshaping of the industry, reimagination of the business processes, and realignment of anything and everything we do related to business, basically, right? So there are three dimensions probably I will talk about the way the industry is really shifting today. So there is focus on new business model and how do you really do market activation leveraging that new business model, right? That's the first dimension. The second dimension is new way of doing things. All the automation, cognitive automation, or market orchestrated operation that we are hearing today is going to drive the new way of working, right? And the third one, most important one, is about new expertise, right? We just talked about humans of DevOps, right? New expertise is all about how you uh, build upon restless talent within your organization, which is driving through personal accountability in trying times. You know how personal accountability is really important, right? How they are really future skill. So those are the three dimensions are going to drive the success of business now as well as the post-pandemic era.
Right. So, how should digital innovations be driven across functions or departments in an organization?
Okay, so I think again a good question, right? So if we talk about, so it's all about, if you're really trying to build the culture of digital transformation in your organization, you need to really look at the P3s basically, right? The people, the process, as well as the product, right? So gone those days where you departmentalize and operate in silos and say that I'm doing digital transformation, right? So that's what I was mentioning earlier, that it's inside out transformation, right? That's not really going to take you too far, right? Your focus should be on more outside in. You need to really have a very clear vision, and from that vision, how do you really align your business to IT at organization level? And when you align your business to IT, what initiatives that you need to focus on, and how do you really create roadmap for those initiatives, and then measure value of those initiatives after the implementation to see whether you really made the vision objectives that you defined at the start of the engagement or not, right? It's something like a concept to realization model, or in industry it's kind of known as C2R model. So concept to realization model is something I think every company, every organization need to focus on, instead of going through, okay, let's do part of this department digitally transform, part of that digitally transform. I don't think that's going to work. It has not worked earlier as well, right? So it has to be a really holistic approach. And in the same time, another important thing, right? So many organizations, I'm sure many of us has observed that people focus on efficiency, right? They cut cost basically, which is a very linear approach. Of course, if you cut cost through a linear approach, you are going to have a lot of cash in reserve basically, right? But is that going to give you the business growth? Probably not, right? So you have to really balance cutting the cost and how do you really ensure your business growth, right? So instead of having a very linear strategic vision, I think you should have strategic envisioning, focus on the outcomes, and also your outcomes should be at different layers. What is going to be the probable outcome? What is going to be the possible outcome, right? And what is going to be your plausible outcome, right? So you need to really model that so that you exactly know what is your threshold, what is your capability baseline, and how do you operate within that, so that you drive right outcomes and right value for your organization from the transformation initiatives that you are aiming at. Maybe I'll just close with one last comment, right? The future is all about going to be what we call as virtual contactless delivery. Your digital foundation, your people, as well as your collaboration platform, that's going to be the ecosystem to succeed and thrive in the post-pandemic era as we move along, right? So I think that's important point for all of us to focus on going forward from here.
Thank you, Biswajit. It was a complete pleasure interacting with you and really appreciate your time. Thank everyone for joining us today.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.